channel. This is an 11.5-inch chunk of mystery wood. I know where I got it, but they don't know what it was. It's got lots of little bug holes in it down here, and it is awfully misshapen. It's cindered. I did cut it round. It's round, not completely round, but I cut it about as round as I could get it. And found center, mounted it with a worm screw, and I can get about 500 RPMs out of it on this tiny little lathe of mine. It wants to start doing a little dance after that. At 500, it's almost dead smooth. There's almost no vibration whatsoever. But that's another point. Don't know what we'll find when we get into this. If you have an idea what kind of wood it is, let me know. It might be a species of oak, of walnut. I will know immediately if it's the same species that I've had trouble with before. And I will probably, if I do, I'll probably have to take it off and see if somebody else wants to turn it, because it gets my respiratory system in a mess, and I'm already a bit of a mess as it is now. I've been suffering from some upper respiratory stuff for about 2 months now. Doesn't seem to want to get better, but doesn't seem to want to get worse. So I keep soldiering on. Let me get a sharpened gouge and a face shield, and we'll see what we can do with this thing. I don't know how much I lost, but I looked up at one point and saw that my camera had turned off. It said that the storage was full. So I had to go empty all that out and take care of that so that I could continue to film this. started recording a second ago and I hit the car alarm on my car. I don't know why I put my hand in my pocket, but I did. So, as per my usual, this is sanded up to 400 and then buffed with the Scotch-Brite abrasive pads. Our next step is going to be Axe abrasive paste. And then we'll finish it off with Howard Feed and Wax. Pretty much my standard operating procedure. I'm still not sure about what this wood is, but I'm leaning, and I hope everybody else would agree with me, I'm kind of leaning towards cherry. I think this is cherry. I'm not sure why I think that, because I've not done but one other piece of cherry in my life, and it was a burl that required lots of effort. Doesn't really look much like this at all, but this just kind of has a feel of that bowl for some reason. So right now I'm going to run with the fact that I think it might be cherry. I'll say I was quite shocked when I first started turning this, and if you watched along, which I'm sure you did, the amount of dirt just downright felt like dirt coming off of this thing, and then I realized it was all from some bug problems down here on the bottom. All right, it's time for the Howard Feed and Wax. And then usually just one coat of this does. I did have a piece a while back that I had to put 2 coats on, but usually 1 coat, and then let it sit for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. Then buff it. Once I get done with that, then we'll turn this thing around, see if we can get it inside hollowed out. Got some pretty nice character to it, I'll say that. Beautiful piece of wood. Like it. I'll let this sit for a while, then buff it out. I'll switch up my chuck jaws for my larger chuck jaws and mount this in the mortise and bring you back when we get there. Well, I gave up trying to film while I was trying to hollow this out. I was having to move the camera around, or I was hitting the camera with my tools, so I finally just set it aside since I've got just using my phone on my a tripod. I finally set it aside. I was having to come all the way over to the other side of the lathe, and I've got this pretty smooth on the inside. The rest I can finish with sanding, but I just thought I'd let you know that I did it on purpose. As you saw, I made a design change. I kept having, one of the reasons I waited a few days on doing this, because I just kept thinking I wanted a bead on the top of this, and wanted to figure out the best way I could do that. And I actually had to make 2 attempts of it. One you didn't see, one you did see, the one that worked out. And I got it done, and then I needed to reshape this outside, so then I had to do some of that. But I just want to let you know, sorry about having to pull you out of the way and turn you off for a while, because I just couldn't get it handled. One of these days I'll come up with a better filming solution, but at this point we'll see what happens. And I'm going to now sand this up, and then I'll bring you back and we put some finish on it. It's sanded up to 400 and then buffed with Scotch-Brite pads from green to white. Next, we're going to do a little Axe abrasive paste, and then we're going to finish it with Howard feed and wax. I'm going to redo the outside again. I had to, when I made this lip, I had to redo part of this, and then I found some things I didn't like about it. So I went ahead and resanded it to get some marks out of it that I didn't see before. So sorry you can't see the back side of this again, but you saw it earlier. It's got a good finish on it. It was a bit of a challenge. This underneath here and this through here. The curve was smaller than my sanding disc, so I had to do a lot of heavy hand sanding. Good thing y'all weren't around for that. It's not my favorite thing to do. I don't believe it's anybody's. The bead here has got some imperfections in it from little wormholes and other things, but I'm pretty much perfectly okay with that. I think it kind of adds a little character to it. This on here, then we'll buff it out. I said the sanding of the inside of this thing was a bear. It was not a pleasant task in any way, shape, or form. Now for some Howard feed and wax. the dropsies today. And as usual with Howard Feed and Wax, 1-2 coats. We'll do a coat, let it sit for 20 minutes, buff it out. And if it needs a second coat, do the second coat. I typically don't really need a second coat. There's some beautiful figure in this. And then we'll do that. I'll do the buffing probably off camera, and I'll bring you back when it's done and show you the finished piece. Here it is. It's 10.5 inches, and it's a little over 2.5 tall. I've got to start doing smaller things on my lathe. I think I'm stressing my motor too much. I've done a lot of big pieces lately, and my motor seems to be waning on some of the turnings. It seems to want to do stuff. I'll do the bottom, see some wormholes there. Do some bottom after I put my name in here, and a little detail across the bottom here, then the detail across the top here with the bead. I just wanted to make it a little fancier. As you can see, we've got some beautiful figure in here, some knots, some wormholes, some nice grain. More figure over here. Whatever this was running through here looks almost burlish. Comes through on both sides. Turned out beautifully nice. I like it a lot. It's one of my better pieces, I think. I appreciate y'all stopping by and watching. I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, a like, if you'd subscribe. And if you want to, share the video. I appreciate you again stopping by, and until next time, we'll see you later.